Okay, well, this is a long-awaited deal. It took 5 weeks for this bike to show up. There's a story behind that. But anyway, this is a 2014, I believe, Honda Valkyrie. And this will be the first Valkyrie I've done. This will probably be the first um, Valkyrie reverse trike of the second gen Valkyries. So this one, I've got most of the stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff over there. I've got the frames here. A lot of the production work for this one's already been done. So it's gonna go really quick. So I just received this a couple minutes ago. Got her up on the rack here, got it leveled up and blocked up. And I'll be pulling the front wheel off today and getting it all prepped for putting the frame on this one. So this will be a unique experience. There's some minor stuff. There's a scuff right here, and I noticed some little rust and stuff on the back carrier there. So we're gonna clean that up too. It's a real minor thing. As long as we're at it here and we've got the paint, we're gonna go ahead and touch up any scratches that are on it. So when he gets this bike back, it's gonna be like brand new. I've got a 16-inch rim for the back, so we're gonna put a car tire in the back. There's a 17-inch rim on there right now, and so we'll go ahead and put a 16 on there, and that way you can get car tires all the way around, which would be a lot better deal. So we're doing this one in concert with the V-Rod here, which you can see I'm just about ready to put wheels on this one, and this one's going to be probably in the paint shop next week. So that'll be kind of nice too. So we'll get the kind of a twofer deal here. My painter's going to be really busy because I'll have these back to back. So we'll keep you up to speed on what's going on with the Valkyrie and the V-Rod here. Well, I got this Valkyrie in about an hour ago, and right now it is completely ready to start reconstructing. I've got everything torn off that I needed to take off. Front wheel's gone. All the parts are sitting right there. So the wheel's off. To open up the front end here. I'll be cutting this hose right here because I add a third radiator. This is basically a GL 1800, even though it's a Valkyrie. So because of the way the fans run backwards and everything, it's going to end up with a third radiator, just like my other builds on the Goldwings. This is really an easy bike to work on. The whole disassembly took an hour. And everything's just going great. I got the kickstand off and hot wired the switch, got that all done. It's really ready to go. Tomorrow I'll be putting the frame on this one. And fork tubes and everything slid right out of there. I'm going to retain all this stuff up on top here. This will all go back together. And there'll be a bracket across the bottom here to drive the steering. But other than that, the body panels and everything are be basically gold wing, the way I do the gold wings until I get to the top there. So I have to kind of blend in with the architecture of what's there right now. So I'll have to get a little creative when I get to that part. But other than that, boy, she's really sliding together pretty good. So I really expect this one to be at this stage by Friday. Let's see if I can focus here. There we go. So we kind of got the dual going here. I've got this one here. I'm going to have to contact the owner and see what color he wants the brake calipers, if he wants them black or red to match the bike. So that's the hold on this one right now. But other than that, the wheels could go on this one, and this one would be actually standing on its own. And I could get the brakes plumbed, and then I'm ready to do body panels on that one. So both of these bikes are really coming together gangbusters here. And I'm sure the owner is going to be real happy on this one because they've been waiting a long time and they deserve to have this one done quickly. So we're not only going to get it done fast, but I'm going to polish up this machine and touch up all the scratches, and it's going to be like brand new when he gets this one. The wheel on the back, I have to talk to him if he wants me to powder coat that black or chrome or silver. I can do silver or black. On this bike, I don't know. It can go either way. It's up to him. The front wheels are probably going to be these, which is kind of the standard racing wheel I put on there. So, you know, it's silver and black, so it kind of depends on what he wants. Other than that, this does not have link brakes, which makes it easier for me. I think it's going to be, the brakes will be better. just because they're non-linked, so I don't have to delink them. So that's a plus. It doesn't have reverse, doesn't have a center stand. The Valkyries are pretty much bare bones, but if it's anything like my 99 Valkyrie, which is the 1500, it's probably a really decent bike. I drove it around the block to get it here, and it handled just fine, and it seems peppier than a standard Goldwing. Maybe it's a little lighter or something, but it really seemed to want to jump when I gave it a little throttle. And I know my 99 is my favorite all-around motorcycle. I just love that thing. So I think the owner here is going to have a really nice machine when he gets her all done. So we'll do a little bit more tomorrow. Okay, today is Thursday, October 24th, and I've had this Valkyrie this is the third day actually. Well, it came in on Tuesday. I spent about an hour disassembling it, getting it ready to go, and then I worked on it yesterday, about half of yesterday, and then about the same today. And as you can see, it's cruising right along. I've got the frame on, got the radiator in, got all the plumbing for the radiator. That's all done. I've got the brackets in the tubes here, which is kind of a major thing to get those done. That's what drives the steering column and the tie rods and that kind of thing. The hoses here, inside of these hoses where it makes the turn, there's actually a spring in there. I insert a spring into the hoses so it doesn't kink or collapse. The radiator has its own electrical connection here. Let me focus eyes here. Anyway, it's got its own connection here. So it runs, the fan runs totally independent of the computer run fans, which you can see are tucked up in there. And the fans on these Goldwings run backwards. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they do. So the third radiator actually adds about 35% more cooling. So this thing will never ever get warm. And this is standard practice on all the Goldwings. They do this on all the 1800s. And this is no exception. All the bracketing, everything's done, the frame's on. I've got the A-arms ready to go. So I'll have it close to this one in probably by Monday. I've got a thing going tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to work in the shop tomorrow. But Monday I should be able to get this thing, get wheels on it and ready to go. I'm probably going to do the body panels on this one first. This gentleman actually was ahead of the line, was ahead of the V-Rod. The delivery really got held up on his, so I want to get his done. His will be a little simpler paint job because it's a single color. So we'll get that one in the shop, and I'll have Harry paint that one for me while I'm working on this one. This one's going to be more complex. I have to work around this kind of crazy looking crash bar thing here. So I've got some ideas, and we'll see how it pans out. It's going to be a little bit of a complex setup on this one, but it'll get done. And this one is ready to go. It's I've got the brake calipers. I decided to go red. I think that really blends in well with the bike. It's just a little bit of an accent that just kind of ties it together. So kind of went that way. The plumbing's all done for the brakes. The brakes are functional and firm, and everything's working good there. Alignment's done, at least a rough alignment. A finish alignment is done after I first test drive it. I have to make sure that the handlebars are square when you're going down the road, so there's some adjustments usually with that. But other than that, this one's ready for body panels. And I hope to have this one in the same position as the V-Rod here in the next, like I say, Monday. And it's going really well. I've got, like I said, oh, stupid air compressor always kicks in. I've got the A-arms all done here. I've got the C-brackets for the calipers. I've got to machine the rotors down yet. And these are actually, these things here are the top mounts for the shock absorbers. And I've got all the pins for the shocks and the A-arms and all that's all done. And these are actually the bottom brackets for the bottom A-arm, which are adjustable. So a lot of this work was done well in advance. I spent like a good week just fabricating parts. And whenever I do parts for one of the bikes, like when I'm doing the fender mounts for this one or this one, either one, I'll do 4 of them. So I do both bikes at the same time. So even though I'm not physically working on both bikes at the same time, I'm building parts for them, which really accelerates the progress. There's some special tools I actually do. This is actually, if you look underneath here, I've got this crazy looking contraption here, which is on the ground, which I use that to support the frame when I'm getting it all lined up, and to get the profile correct, I want the slope to match the bike. So that thing comes in kind of handy for that. I've got a special wrench right there, which is specially bent because these brackets up in here, I don't know if you can see them. It's actually kind of a sandwich thing. There's a clamp that goes around the frame tube, and there's a nut that secures it, and then the plate is actually screwed to that. So there's a 3/8 nut between these two plates, and I have to get in there with this wrench and tighten them. So that's what this wrench, this crazy looking bent wrench is for. And you kind of end up improvising as you go here. You know, I learned that a long time ago to make some of these special tools to get this stuff all lined up. The mounts for this frame actually go all the way back into the engine block. So in order for anything to break, it would have to break the engine in half, which is doubtful. I'm pretty sure Honda builds them pretty stout. So anyway, this one's cruising right along. I had to figure out how to do the trim around the steering head here. I've got some ideas on that. I think that's going to flow pretty good. And we'll see how creative we can get and how much we can customize this guy. So that's the progress report on this. It's, you know, I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty happy. Everything's cruising right along. The wheels that are on here are going to go on there. I'm going to put a silver rim on the back. The owner decided he liked the silver better, so that's fine. And I think his wife agrees with him on that, so it's kind of a team effort on what they want. So I'll keep you up to speed here as things move along further. Okay, it's Monday afternoon, and it's quitting time. So I'm doing this video just before I head out for supper. The Valkyrie's coming along really good. As you can see, I got the A-arms on, the frame's all done, plumbing's all done, radiator's in, and tomorrow morning it'll take me probably, I'm guessing about an hour, and it'll be at this stage where it'll be wheels, brake calipers, everything done. The V-rod over here is ready for body panels. I can start the sheet metal. This is actually drivable right now. Brakes and everything are all bled out and nice and solid. Rough alignment's all done, and anti-sway bar. Everything's on this one that needs to be there to drive it down the road. So it's ready for sheet metal, and the body panels for that one will probably be going into the shop sometime next week for paint. Same thing with this one. I'm actually going to do the body panels in this one first because this one's going to be a lot simpler, and I can get this one done really quick. Plus this is a single tone color, which would be much easier and faster, so I can get this one done for the owner. They're going to come get it, and I got to give him a heads up on when to show up and pick up his bike. And so I'm going to get this one done first, and the V-rod will be right behind it. So my painter will have 2 of them basically going one after another. I've got the things cooling down here. Just came out of the oven. I got the rotors all done, and the calipers are done. Anti-sway parts are there. I've got the steering column is cooling off, and in the oven here I've got the anti-sway bar and a couple of little pieces hanging in there just cooking away. So I'm gonna let them coast for an hour or so here so they cure. I've got the tires all mounted, ready to go. So like I say, in about an hour the Valkyrie there is going to be roadworthy also. So yeah, I've got some plenty of ideas here, and I've actually got the tubes in here to fasten the steering head to. So that part's done. I got to build a kind of a splash to go up into here to cover all the electronics, and kind of trim off this front part so it blends in real nice with the existing trim work that's there, the fairing and that kind of thing. So we'll get her done. It's looking good. So I've got, I think the only thing I have to fabricate is the tie rods. I got to build those and get them powder coated. But other than that, everything is ready to go, and we'll have this one, some more info on this one tomorrow.